Good afternoon. My name is Justin C, and it's my privilege to be here today with you. I'm from HP, and I lead the research effort for our consumer laptop and gaming businesses. Today, I will be sharing more on the topic of creating fun research experience in the digital world. HP is a relatively young player in the gaming PC world. We established our dedicated gaming brand, called Omen, about 4 years back and have been doing our best to make a name for ourselves. It's our goal to build a strong brand that cuts through the clutter, and to do that well, we put in a lot of effort to understand our customers. Today, I would like to share with you my experience with a recent research that I've conducted to support our marketing campaign. But first, I would like to provide the context to how we came about our marketing campaign before sharing more on how I've used gamification in our survey to help us achieve our research objectives. And finally, I will be sharing with you what I've learned from this entire experience and how you can go about incorporating gamification techniques in your next research to make the experience a fun one for everybody. Let me quickly share with you how we have developed our marketing campaign idea. Gaming has come a long way. For the longest time, our culture has been saying that gaming is a waste of time. There is this belief that everyone needs to be more productive, and this puts gamers in a bad light. From our research, we know that Gen Z and young millennials are more stressed than ever. They feel the pressure of needing to be productive and optimizing their time. In short, the get it done culture is simply at odds with gaming. But we know better. We know that gaming does more for us than culture realizes. It is the very best way we connect, grow, and change. We have seen how gaming has played an important role during the COVID-19 pandemic and how it has become people's emotional and mental support. Video games are being played at record levels, and video game sales went up tremendously during this period. Not only are people spending more time playing games at home, they are also spending more time watching other people's play. We have also seen gamers turning to games like Animal Crossing to socialize when they can't do it in person, and using games to combat loneliness during the pandemic. It is now the largest form of entertainment, and according to the latest figures, the video game business is now larger than both the movie and music industries combined. Pretty impressive, yeah? We know gaming doesn't deserve the reputation it has, and we definitely don't think it's a waste of time. This is why we would like to redefine the role of gaming in culture by lifting those who play games and portray them in good light. We hope to bring across the message that gaming connects us with our friends. It helps us learn stuff about ourselves and each other. And most importantly, we can play to progress and even surprise ourselves with what we can do. With this, we decided to embark on the Transcend Humanity campaign, a future where gamers are on top. In order to appeal to gamers and break through the clutter, the campaign will imagine an entire world in the near future that is intriguing, inclusive, and modern, with a supernatural vibe that will stand out and be memorable. This universe, where gamers are on top because they game, makes gamers feel good about themselves and Omen. But this universe has to be over the top, tongue-in-cheek, and provocative. Otherwise, it wouldn't break through and have the desired impact. Let's take a look at the campaign.
Non-gamers, with their horrendous cognitive skills, have next to no chance of succeeding in life. But there is hope.
Welcome to Bright Dimensions, a top-of-the-range facility equipped with top-of-the-line gaming equipment where ineffective non-gamers, like you, can, with the right guidance and rehabilitation, actually become effective. Both hands. I would know I was also a patient here, and if I can do it, you can too. At Bright Dimensions, our professional staff will create a personalized plan so you can overcome your virtual fears. So soon, you'll be ready to get back out into the world and start contributing.
Put me on the leaderboard of life.
So hurry and book your place today. It's not too late for you to become peak humanity.
Transcend humanity through gaming.
As you can see, the advertisement was over the top, provocative, and cheeky. Feedback from our customers has been really encouraging, and we want to push the boundaries even more. We want to continue the message that gaming elevates gamers to a higher state of being. And to do that, we have to prove it. We have to prove that gaming makes people more advanced than those who do not game. This brings us to our research objective. We needed to show that gamers have better cognitive abilities than non-gamers. To do that, we had to define what we mean by cognitive abilities. There are 7 gaming tenets that we consider to be important. They are focus, memory, mental stamina, responsiveness, creativity, strategic thinking, and teamwork. These are tenets that we think define a capable human, and tenets that we think both gamers and non-gamers can compete fairly in. As usual, we jumped straight into business and started collecting information from consumers on their perceptions and whether they think gaming helps to improve cognitive abilities. True enough, many of the people surveyed believe that gaming helps to improve cognitive skills. For example, 64% of the people believe that gaming improves their memory. 67% of them believe that gaming improves their ability to focus. And 66% believe that gaming positively impacts their attention to details. We, at HP, were of course excited about the figures, but we were not satisfied. We were not content with what people think whether gaming can improve their cognitive skills. We wanted to know if gaming can indeed improve cognitive abilities and whether gamers have better cognitive skills than non-gamers. We felt that we needed to think outside the box and do more than just asking questions in a survey. So we went back to the drawing board and brainstormed on what we could do. There were many ideas that surfaced. For example, should we conduct an IQ test like how Mensa did it? Or should we ask a battery of aptitude questions to evaluate our participants? Eventually, we decided that we could administer fun activities to measure their cognitive abilities. We wanted to gamify the experience by adding gameplay mechanics into the online survey to make it interesting. Let's try some of the activities that our participants did to evaluate their cognitive skills. To test the focus and reaction time of the participants, we conducted the Stroop color and word test. Let's see how fast you can name the color of the word. Red, green, black, purple, green, purple, blue, black. How many did you get right? This test is normally used in neuropsychological evaluations to measure mental vitality and flexibility. To perform well in this activity, the participant would require strong attention, inhibition, and self-regulation capability. Here is how it looks like in the survey. At the end of the activity, we use the number of correct responses to evaluate the level of focus of the participants. If the scores are the same, we then use their reaction time to pull the results apart. Now, let's try another activity. For this, I'll be testing your memory. Look at the tiles and remember the pattern. Based on what you saw earlier, which tiles were gray? Did you get it right? Let's try again. Now, select the tiles that were gray. Did you get it right? So, what you have experienced was what our participants went through during the survey. By repeating the activity several times, we were able to collect data on the number of correct answers and their response rate. We then used this to give them a score on how good their memory are. Let's try our last activity today. In this test, you are supposed to think of all the possible uses of the object that I'm about to show you. Let's see how many use cases you can think of in 10 seconds. Alright, stop. How many did you get? If you got at least 2 use cases, congratulations. You are more creative than half of the people we surveyed. Give yourself a pat. Here's how it looks like for the respondents. In the survey, they were given 1 minute to really stretch their creativity. To measure their creativity, we took into account the accuracy of the answers and the number of responses they provided. Now, you have a better idea of how we have incorporated fun activities in our survey to measure the cognitive abilities of gamers and non-gamers. While I can't share the results due to confidentiality reasons, there are definitely key learnings that we can take away from an experience like this. Let's kick off the list with the most obvious one. Games bring fun and enjoyment to users. Gamifying the survey creates an interactive experience which can bring about greater enjoyment. Respondents are also more likely to provide quality response when they are more engaged. This brings us to the second point, measurable engagement. It is not sufficient for us to just have better engagement with the participants during the survey. What's really important is that we use the data that we collect at the back end to make meaningful interpretation. And this brings us to the last point, the ability to dig deeper into our analysis. If you recall, one of the 7 tenets was responsiveness. Instead of having a dedicated question to measure responsiveness, we were able to measure the reaction time and use that to evaluate their performance. Of course, I will encourage you to start making survey fun for your respondents. But before you jump straight into it, there are things that you should note. The concept of gamification has been around and it's a sexy concept. But the reality is that it doesn't work for all types of research. We were lucky to come across this research problem, which can be easily solved by using fun activities. That said, the spirit of gamification is still valid. A little bit of fun would definitely help with engagement. You can always start with some drag and drop activity in your survey, or even use virtual currency for constant sum questions. Or you could even phrase your questions in a fun way. This is what we call soft gamification. Don't go overboard. Start small and don't attempt to gamify the entire survey. For us, there were 3 out of 7 tenets that still requires us to administer aptitude tests in order to measure the abilities. Traditional methods like rating still works, so don't throw that out of the window. Gamification makes your survey longer, even though your participants may not realize it. Even though your participants are more engaged and less likely to drop out, you should still assess the quality and length of your survey and make sure the survey experience is not compromised. To show you that you don't have to go to the extremes like what we did for our survey, here is an example of soft gamification. This is the drag and drop activity that many of you are familiar with. And yes, this is one of the most simple form of gamification. Another way that you can have soft gamification in your survey is to play with the phrasing of the questions. You can choose to apply a framework to your questions and set a scenario for your participants. For example, instead of saying, "Please tell us what your favorite foods are," you can try, "Imagine if you are at the supermarket with unlimited budget to buy all your favorite food. What would you buy?" Or you can apply a rule to your questions to make it a little bit more exciting. For example, instead of saying, "Please tell us what your favorite brands of chocolate are," you can say, "You now have 1 minute to tell us as many of your favorite brands of chocolate as you can." Lastly, you can even play around with the response layout. For instance, instead of having one big open-ended box for inputs, you may be better off with many smaller boxes to encourage more answers. So hopefully, by now you have realized that gamification can be incorporated at different levels. The examples I showed you are just the tip of the iceberg, and there are many more you can do. According to the academic paper written by Bailey and Pritchard in 2014, even if you try soft gamification, you will be able to benefit from it. The accuracy of the responses can increase significantly by 25% with soft gamification. And you are likely to witness higher level of engagement by participants, hence better quality in responses. And now we have come to the end of the presentation. I hope you have enjoyed the session and now have a better appreciation of gamification. Research is a form of art and science, and I'm sure you are now more inspired and equipped to incorporate gamification techniques in your next research. Making research a fun experience is greatly beneficial, but it is certainly not the only thing you should be obsessed with. And remember, as you go along, it is not the activity that you do with your participants that matter, but the spirit of making research fun for everyone. Thank you.